there, and welcome to the Modern Day Mirror podcast. We're reviving the lost art of storytelling with true stories from listeners just like you. We're here for the humor, nostalgia, the lessons, and to reflect each other's light as modern day mirrors. Hey there, folks. It's your host, Cecilia. We're highlighting stories with unexpected outcomes this season. And because the mysterious world of dating apps holds surprises at every turn, it's no shocker that today's story, like episode 1, is about a couple who met online. I won't spoil too much, but there is a power struggle that ensues, and you might be surprised to learn why. Here to fill us in is Jeannette.
I have been on the dating apps on and off for probably the last year or so, but typically I get on them, I last like 2 to 3 weeks, can't even handle because they're just too much, and then I delete it again and move on with my life. Well, I restarted the dating apps again in the spring, actually a little before, like February, March, and this one guy that I had matched with like the year before popped up again in my matches. We start talking and it's like easy conversation. Asks for my phone number and I'm like, okay, he's fun. Like we can banter, this and that. Main thing that kind of throws me is he's 8 years younger than me. And I've never done an age gap like that before, like at all. And so I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this, but like, he's really cute. Like, tan skin, like beautiful body, like brown eyes, like the brown eyes, like I just love. And then he like asks me out. And so we like plan a date and everything for like that weekend. And then like he never follows through. But then he adds me on Instagram. So now he's like following me on Instagram. And so then he starts like liking my shit all the time. I was like, okay, whatever, you know. Like a month goes by and he's like comments on something of my stories and like asks me on a date again. And then doesn't follow through again. And then there's like a third time and he had said like, let's get together, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, Mr. doesn't know how to follow through on a date. Like literally wrote that. Like, and he's like, yeah, you're right. What about this day on like a Friday? And I was like, well, like, we'll see. Let's see if you show up. Let's see if this actually happens. And so he like texts me on that Friday and is like, hey, are you still down? Like, I'm going there. And I said, yeah, like, okay, let's do this. And so I get there and he's at the bar and he's like, I didn't think you're going to show up. I thought you were like setting me up for not showing up the last 2 times. I was like, not going to lie. Like I considered it, you know? And like I am with almost all my first dates. Like I don't want to go. And so I literally had to force myself to go anyways. Like it was like dragging my feet all day. So I really did think I wouldn't have like not shown up because that's mean. Yeah. But I definitely thought about canceling. So we are there and we're like at the bar and everything, just having a couple drinks, chit-chatting. And one of the things that we had like in common and that we had joked about, actually I think the very first time we ever talked, is he likes the show Friends. And I like the show Friends, and I'm very competitive, and he's competitive. So we're arguing over who would win Friends trivia, which like I'm an undefeated Friends trivia master since 2004. So try me, you know? Yeah. And so we had like joked about, like talked about this and everything before. And so like the date like went well, like we were just like having fun, drinking everything. And then he was like, do you want to come back and play Friends trivia at my house? I don't like to go to people's houses the first time that I meet them. Like I choose life. And so, and I had told him this actually on the first day because I kept trying to go to his house to like cook me dinner on the first day. And I was like, absolutely not. You can like bring me somewhere where you're not going to murder me or like we're not going to meet each other. But then he's cute again and I want to win Friends trivia. So I'm like, okay, fine. So we go back to his apartment. I lose Friends trivia, but to be fair, like I had a pitcher of margaritas, like, so I wasn't on the top of my game, but either way, like he did win me by quite a bit. So after Friends trivia, like we ended up like making out on the couch, right? It's a completely normal night. And then I'm like, okay, like it's late. I gotta go. Bye. Turns out like he's Air Force Reserves and he was leaving for his like one training a year the next day where they're gone for like 3.5 weeks. So we had this good date and now he's gone. It was kind of worked out a little bit well because we were forced to have to communicate. So I think we like talked a lot more about different things about each other and in general. So we ended up really like starting to kind of like, I think fall a little bit faster than normal would. And so he ends up coming back from his training a little bit early. He like tells his people he was a groomsman in a wedding and that he had to leave early. So he literally left early to come home. And he came home on like a Wednesday or something. And we had plans for that Friday. And like he had asked, can you hang out Wednesday? Like I want to see you. And I felt bad because like, he like came home early wanting to see me. But my kid had a baseball game that day. And it's just like I have other things I have to take care of.
Yeah.
And so I told him, I was like, I actually can't, and I'm like, but like Friday, we still have plans. And like, he was like, okay, like, no, I totally understand. But I could tell his feelings were hurt. And I don't like that. I don't like when hurt people's feelings, and that he had just put in like all this effort for me of like coming home and everything. So I was like, okay, what if I see you on Thursday for a couple hours, like at the day early? And I said, I'll leave work early. Like 2 hours so I can come just like visit you, say hi, because we haven't seen each other in like almost a month,
Yeah.
and all of that. And he's like, okay, that's great. And so I get off work early, like I'm all excited for the day. I'm going to see, him after like, it's been almost a month, like 3 weeks. And I go to his apartment and like, we're just like, I'm only going to be there for like an hour and a half because again, I had another baseball game that day. It's just like fine, like, or, I got him like a little plant for his apartment and everything. Of like his like favorite Marvel character, like I had it like custom made on the pot and everything, just like me. It's just like stupid, like showing my like love in that way. Not that I was in love, but that's like, how I show I care about people is I like to do thoughtful things.
Yeah.
And so like I give him that and we're just like catching up, talking, like obviously like, kiss him when I walk in and all that. I wasn't there that long and he makes a comment about like, because he had this blanket over his couch. Like it's like a big, thick blanket. He was like, yeah, my mom got me this. He's like, and I put it over the couch because like last time you came over, like, and we made the couch, like I had to like spray the couch down. I don't know what to say to this, And I'm thinking like, okay, so like he put the blanket down, like maybe he's like a germaphobe. Like we were at the bar, we came home and we're on his couch and like he's putting like bar germs on his couch, like in his brain,
Yeah.
Not me, but like you do you. So because he nonchalantly mentions it, I don't like know what to do. And so I just like sit on the floor.
Yeah.
Because
I would feel super uncomfortable.
I just like didn't know what to do. But it was like very nonchalant the way he mentioned it, right? Like it was just kind of like sort of in passing of like that it kind of weirded him out the first time we met, but like did not seem like it weirded him out that night. So just like sitting there chatting, like he's like literally telling me a story about like high school and this fight he got with his friends, like just complete like normal hangout, and I'm on the floor, he's on the couch, and like I have to go because I had to like go take my kid to baseball. And there's still plans the next night. And we were going to go out to eat and then like go back and hang out at his place. And I don't remember why, but like last minute, like he kind of like canceled us like going out. And like, again, that like, threw me because he was like, well, I'm not really that hungry. Like, do you just want to come over? And I'm thinking like, try harder, sir. Like it has been not that long, you know what I mean? But I'm also like kind of easygoing, and I don't like to assume other people's financial situation because like of mine. So I'm like, what if he like just didn't have the money and he doesn't want to be like, hey, I don't have the money or I don't want you to split it. That's just kind of where my brain goes. And so I'm not going to question it when someone's last minute kind of like, let's stay in, because I don't want to put someone in a situation where they're not comfortable financially. So, but then like he made another comment, like, and he was like, so you can like pick up food if you're hungry on the way here. And I'm like, and so I'm like, okay, weird. I'm already kind of weirded out now. So I get dressed and cute. Like I was wearing these like green cargo pants. And I wore those to work that day with like a more appropriate top. And then like when I changed to go over to his house, like I put on like a little like black crop top with it, and then like freshened up my hair, my makeup, got all cute, was like all into it, you know. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go see my man, you know. And I show up and like he's like normal and everything. I'm not there for seriously 3 minutes. Like, and I walk in and I'm like standing kind of in the living room, and I go, he's like on the couch, and I go to go sit on the couch, and he's like, are you going to take your pants off? And I'm like, no, you know? And then he was like, I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you're in outside clothes. And I said, I'm what? And he's like, you're in outside clothes. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, you know? And he was like, you wore those today. And I was like, sure did.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you need to take off your pants. Like, do you want to use some of my pajamas? And I said, no. And he's like, well, if you want to sit on my couch, you can't wear those pants. And I like look at him and I cross my arms and I go, do you want me to leave? And he's like, no. And I said, I'm not taking off my pants. And he's like, seriously? And I'm like, seriously? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you have like, you know, the blanket is on this couch now. And he's like, I don't want the blanket to get dirty. And I'm like, then what's the purpose of the blanket? Like, and I'm not dirty. Like, quit making me feel like I'm dirty.
I've heard of outside
Shoes.
Well, no, yes, shoes. But I've heard of outside clothes like not on the bed.
Right.
But I have not heard that on the couch before.
And I said, my pants aren't dirty. And he's like, did you wear them today? And I'm like, yes. And I was like, but I got this shirt out of the closet brand new. And he's like, then you can wear the shirt, but not the pants. I was like, no.
Do you think that he was trying to suggest that you take your pants out? Like it was a way of him coming on to you and it didn't work?
Absolutely not. And then like I look at it and I can't help it. I just fucking look him dead in the eye and I sit on the fucking cushion. The one closest to me. So there's like one cushion in between us and he looks at me and I was like, I'm not gonna stand there. And I was like, I'm sitting on the couch. And apparently like he feels really disrespected by this. But like, at least like if you're gonna invite me over, be like heads up, bring us
a
different. And I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
If you were like, hey, because I know we kind of mentioned it, but like barely. Like he was just kind of like, ooh, I was kind of grossed out and had to spray my couch. Like you didn't tell me like I'm not allowed to come sit on your freaking furniture with clothes I wore that day. And so I sit on the couch and I'm like, okay, I have questions, you know, and I don't mean to be a smart ass. I probably come off as a smart ass, but I'm like, so what are these rules here? What if I wore the pants in my house only? And I'm like, is that considered outside pants? And he's like, well, did you go outside? And I'm like, well, like to get here. And he's like, no, that's fine. I was like, well, so what if if you like wore him to the store, like, ugh, gross, like literally like that, like expressive, like gross, if you wore them to the store and came into my house. This goes on for like 45 minutes. And so like, I like reach like in, there's a whole ass cushion in between us. I like reach over and I'm like, this is so weird. Like I can't touch you. Yeah. He literally does the same thing and holds my hand across the couch. So we're like on different cushions, reaching across to hold hands because we can't touch close. And this probably goes on for like another like 25 minutes. I'm like, I need a drink. I was like, can you make me a drink? And then so like gets up and like kisses my forehead like as he gets up and I'm like, okay, like maybe he's like gonna stop being so mad at me.
Yeah.
And gives me a drink, gets him a drink, and then I feel like we kind of loosen up a little bit because we're like having a drink and then conversation's starting to like flow a little bit more. So I like kind of keep like seeing if I can get a little bit further and I'm like kind of like pushing him a little bit more to be like wanting to like touch my pants, you know what I mean? Like how much more can I like make you want to get closer to me, but like I'm also not gonna back down. But he's also not backing down. So like I'm being like flirty, I'm doing like all the things and I'm drinking my drink, just like we're having conversation, and then he eventually like finally like moves over to the middle cushion and again I can't help it, like there's something wrong with me, like I'm just like such a smart ass. So I'm like, my pants are touching yours. Like, are you okay? Like, how does this feel? And he's just like, shut up, you know? He's like, come here. And like, asks me to come sit on his lap.
What?
Yeah. And I'm like,
so you can't sit on his couch with your dirty pants, so you can sit on his lap.
Well, and that's the thing is like, I think I just like maybe had one at this point.
Oh.
But because I think at this point, like now I've like got him loose enough in his like drink and everything.
Oh, okay.
And like now like I've like, you know, flirted it and like now he can't handle like that I'm too far away in my dirty pants. And so I sit on his lap. So then we end up like make it out again or whatever. Then he gets like kind of weird. It's like it's getting late. And like again we had plans for this for like the whole 3 weeks he was gone. And originally like I was even gonna stay the night that night, but then I ended up having my kids couldn't go where they were originally going to go. So I couldn't stay the night anymore. But this is now like 10 o'clock and he's like all of a sudden like shifted. Like, I don't know if like maybe his buzz wore off and now he realizes like my germs are in his space. And so then he starts like getting like kind of weird already. Like I can kind of tell. And then he's like, and I told him, I said like, I just like don't know if this is gonna work. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, I just feel like I am like a tornado of beautiful chaos. And I said, and like, you're just like really meticulous.
That's and a nice way to put it.
I was like, I feel like I'm gonna stress you out. And I said, in being who I am. And I said, and I get it. I don't know if it's because you're young, because like remember he's 8 years younger than me.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And so I'm like, is this? And I said, so maybe life hasn't humbled you the way that it has humbled me. And I said, because I used to be pretty black and white as well, and I was very like things have to be, and I have to be in control and all that. And I said, but life taught me otherwise. And I said, so I'm not sure if like that's what this is. I feel like I'm gonna be a lot for you. And I said, not that I'm messy, but like I am very kind of just chaotic. Like just imagine glitter being thrown in the air with fireworks. I don't know. It's just like me walking in a room. And so he was like, he called me the Joker. He was like, I feel like I'm Batman and you're the Joker and you don't like rules. And I said, well, first of all, that sounds rude. And I was like, but I have not seen those movies. So like, I feel like I cannot like really have my defense here.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, he's like, you're just going to do whatever you want. And he's like, and you disrespected me in my home. And I was like, no, I didn't. I said, I was uncomfortable. And I said, and I like stood my ground. I said, I was trying to be as respectful to you as I could at the time of like still holding my own and having my own comfort. And I said, I don't like people trying to tell me what I have to do. He's all, yeah, like the Joker. And I said, no. And I said, it's like, I came from a really controlling relationship. And I said, and like, you absolutely cannot tell me like something I need to do that's going to make me uncomfortable. Like, it's not going to happen. He's like, but this is my home. He's like, you can go into, if we go at your house, he's like, you can roll around the dirt all you want and then like sit next to me and I'll be fine. And I was like, well, first of all, I don't do that. Like, I'm not a pig. Like, I just like wore these clothes to work. Like, it's slightly different, but whatever. We kind of like leave on that. And so like, I kind of like sit on it that night and I'm just like, okay. And then I text him the next day and I'm like, hey, like, I didn't mean to be disrespectful. Like, and kind of like try to like have him like see my point of view on the situation. Then he tells me that's a cultural thing. That like, so he's from Guam is like where he grew up. I like try to be like, okay, like now I kind of feel bad. Like, because I don't want to be disrespectful to someone's culture. So I'm like, okay, like let me hit this from another point of view. Like I can be compromising as well. Like I'm not, again, like I'm not set in that black and white, all the things of like what something needs to look like. So I'm like, okay, here's the thing. Like, I like next time I'll just come and bring clothes, you know, and like I can respect you in your home if like that's what it was. I didn't mean to make you feel that I was disrespecting you and your culture and like hitting you on like that kind of level. What I was trying to do is protect myself in a way and still feel comfortable and like have a good night. Like, I'm sorry, like my bads, I will take responsibility here. And so he's like, thank you. Like, but he still also kind of like isn't like, oh, I'm sorry too. He's just like, thank you, like kind of put me in my spot. And I'm like, ugh. And so I'm like, do you want to meet, you know, let's do happy hour tomorrow. And he's like, okay. I meet him and he's being like super weird and like distant. Like, so still like obviously like is like thrown by the situation and like me being disrespectful. And so, but like, I assume that like we're probably gonna go back to his house because that's typically the way it is after. So I'd already like packed my little like inside clothes, and I even had it packed in a little bag that said crap bag, which is like off a friend's thing, so it's gonna be all like cutesy of like we like friends, look at my crap bag, you know. And we like have like happy hour, and so then like he like goes to like kiss me goodbye, like peck status, like not even like a kiss, and I'm like literally pull away and look at him, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, do you like want me to come over? And he's like, no, I have to food prep. And I text him when I get home and I'm cutting it off, you know, and I just said, hey, like, like as nice as I can be. Like I feel like you're kind of like in your me era. Like this apartment, actually, he had just moved in and it's his first time living alone as well. Because again, culturally, like they typically live together a long time with their family. Like his older brother still lives with his parents and stuff. And so I said, I kind of think that you're like in a spot in your life right now where like you're in your me era. And I said, that's great. Like that's honestly a great place to be. And I said, I am at a point in my life like where I'm ready to date and I want to make someone a priority and I want them to make me that in return. And I don't think you're ready for that. And then he like tries to like beg to be like, well, no, it could be, beg's not the right word. I wouldn't say beg. Make me like, change my mind, I guess, like, but I wouldn't call it begging. Just be like, debate me on a situation about it of like why we should continue it or it should work. And then like, he was like all like butthurt about it. And then like, that was like it. Like looking back at it now, like I definitely got love bombed, I think, for the first time. It was like the biggest whirlwind of a month that like with such a like anticlimactic ending, I was like so thrown.
Big thank you to Jeannette for sharing her story this week. If you are curious about these infamous green cargo pants, I'd invite you to check out the Modern Day Mirror Instagram page. All of our socials and more information on how you can also be a featured storyteller are in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a rating, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Thank you so much for being here.